There are some games though where that sudden burst of confused activity is really interesting. Do you remember Helldivers? We played that briefly.
It was I found it quite difficult to jump in and just play. I don't know what it was about, and it was
I had
definitely a
to,
control
so what
scheme
reminded
thing.
me of that is I had to wipe my account in order to play with Mikey because the power difference was just too big.
Hmm.
Like I had access to airstrikes and mechs and all kinds of things, and Mike's just starting out. So the first mission was just me walking around Mike, stopping him from getting an experience. Like that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. You take pictures. Um,
Being carried. But when there is a big
but one of the
level
things that
difference like
they
that,
do is
it is
yeah.
challenging.
So and that's something that I mean I haven't played it, but Gotham Knights seems to do very well. Is they lower they lower or raise the guest to the host's level, which is smart. Um, but Helldivers has this really interesting thing where when you want to use your ability, whatever abilities you've got slotted, there's actually a key combination you have to press, and it might be up, right, right, down, right. And if you at any time do that combination, that and the ability is up, it'll just do it. Which means in the heat of things where you're trying to or resummon your downed friend and you can't remember what the thing is, and you look at the screen going, it's up, down. Oh,
I I re I re
yeah, VR games and cats is actually a big problem. Just look at Vertex here.
yeah. I mean, is it a design consideration? I mean, I suppose if you wanted to play VR, you'd have to make sure your cats were safe. So out the room, and then they just sit there removing your door bit by bit.
Well, I can't remember which VR system it is, but the one that has the sensors on the wall so you can walk around.
Yeah, HTC
I'm like,
Vive and the
you
Valve
want me
Index.
to walk around without seeing what's under my feet, and I have cats in the house. They're going to claw the crap out of me when I step on them.
I mean, the Oculus is no better. That's got cameras on the actual headset itself to judge movement. But you
If
still,
I don't have to move around, it's a little less dangerous, but even so.
oh, you imagine just playing with the mouse and keyboard, or just the mouse or whatever, and then a cat jumps at you, and you didn't realize they were there. That would be bad,
Yeah,
bad,
VR
bad, bad, bad.
looks a lot of fun, but I don't know that it's worth the risk
Yeah,
or so.
the kids
Money.
love it. I mean, it's I've used it like a total of 3 times, and I still haven't. I bought a Half Life Alex last Christmas with the intention of playing it.
Have you still not played that?
No, I've got all the updates now though.
So, weirdest controls. And I don't know if I'm proud or ashamed about this, got to the top 5 percentile of expert guitar on Rock Band 3 with a big plastic guitar.
Hmm.
I can't play the guitar.
No,
And when
that's
I
quite common.
gave the plastic guitar to play that, because we used to have rock band parties when I was living in New York. Um, and one of my friends was a professional bassist, and I gave him one of the plastic guitars. I said, "Here you go, you play bass." He's just like, "This is nothing like a guitar. This doesn't work the same way." Um, but that was a really fun mechanism. I mean, just the controls involved were great.
Mm.
DDR dance pads
Oh, I love them.
are much less fun now that my feet don't work.
But
Like,
that was interesting because I am a heavy chap, so bouncing up and down the cheap 20, 30 pound ones at the time, I'd break them instantly. Um, and so I ended up looking around. I imported one from, okay, which European country uses not Corona, something else.
it's a
I
beer.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember. I think it was
No
Norway.
European country that I'm aware of uses beer as currency,
Oh, this was before. This was this was
except
before the
maybe
euro as well.
Scotland.
But anyway, I had to import it from abroad, and I it was one level below going and getting a metal one from like an arcade or something,
Yeah.
which would have been a bit overkill. But I absolutely loved DDR. It was amazing at the time.
I mean, it's a great control system for certain things. I do like that you can actually play Crypt of the Necrodancer with a dance pad.
Can you? Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy one.
I'm not. If I go for a walk, I can't use my feet for 2 hours.
Think of what jumping up and down on a hard surface might do.
Mike, hey, send
Send
help.
help.
I can't. I'm laughing too hard.
Yes,
Okay,
but
so
record it.
worst control system you've ever had to use?
Um, for me, it would be a toss up between the uh the PS1 QuickTime stuff because I didn't know what that was. But in terms of and I think it does boil down to that because for me, if you're used to a certain way of doing something and you've got to do something new, that's really where the difficulty where the bad stuff comes in. But yeah, in recent memory, it is that game that I've forgotten again. What did I say? The Long Dark. Um,
Mm.
and it was weird. I was like, oh, this is going to be a breeze. I played lots of survival games, and the first thing I think after your plane crash, you have to gather some wood and make a fire in the cave. And the interact or pick up button, it does it. You click on it, and so I was mashing the keyboard and everything, and I died 3 or 4 times. I'm like, why am I unable to do this? What's wrong with me?
That is something that annoyed the poop out of me with Minecraft. I used to play a lot of Minecraft back when it was still in beta. Why is inventory on E?
Because it's close to I.
No, E is interact. We all know E is interact.
Not anymore. It's F.
I or tab.
So
No, F is respects.
I can't remember which one it was, as in which first person shooter it was, where I first discovered that F is the interact key because Q and E were for leaning, and I used to walk up to doors and go. Huh?
Have you seen Dara Breen talking about he loves video games, but he's so bad at them?
Yes, inventory.
E for inventory, yes. Um,
Well, ultimately, I get the idea behind
7
wanting to
Days to
bind it.
Die is an interesting one. Actually. The controls for 7 Days to Die are not intuitive. I enjoy 7 Days to Die a lot.
I found it very difficult to build stuff the first time I was playing it. I was like, I don't quite understand it.
Right click to place and left click to rotate throws me every time. Tab for inventory, kind of. It's actually the crafting screen. Y for no, I is social menu. Y is journal. I don't know which button is for quests.
Q, of course. Why not?
No.
But it's interesting, right? Because if you've got these standardizations, if you deviate from that paradigm for whatever reason, whatever your reason is, the moment you deviate from that paradigm, you are going to confuse your gamers, your players, ultimately. Now, I can just about get the hang of like changing from E to F. It's a bit of muscle memory difference, you know. You instead of going for one, you're just going to the other side. But for instance, I hate C for crouch.
Yeah.
For instance, because I'm so used to it being the control key.
Sorry, Vertex. I couldn't help myself.
Fine. You carry on down in the chat. But yeah, that's probably. And I'm not against change, though. I think if the change is worth doing, I mean, for instance, first-person shooters have gotten more complex. It's not just about running around. You can now lean, so you've got. And I remember Thief had lean options as well. So
Lean is great when it serves some purpose. And Thief, a slow, thoughtful game with seeing round corners was vital.
yeah,
Okay, makes sense. In a cover shooter, it's a third-person game. I don't care. I mean, I don't really want to do like the Adam Jensen shuffle every time we go to a doorway.
yeah,
Control is an interesting one. Actually, I remember, I can't remember which game it was. Oh, it might have been the RPG prototype where Mike started saying, I don't like that this button is on control because I can't reach that comfortably on my keyboard. So one of the things you need to look at for controls, whether it's control physical systems or control design, as in how you design the controls in your game, is accessibility. You need to have some alternatives in there.
And frequency as well. So if it's something that your player is going to use again and again and again, so a craft menu under, let's say you were using WASD, a craft menu under C, E, Q, if it's right next to the player's hands, it kind of makes sense. Even tab, but putting it
None of
under,
those work.
I'm just using it as an example, but yeah. But you've got to be thoughtful. If someone's got to disconnect and press I, but if they're crafting in game and it's real time, and it doesn't pause the game when you're in the inventory, and we've had this question about the RPG as well. If we if you're not pausing the game when you're trying to organize things or find a potion, is that a good thing? Is that going to add pressure to doing it, or is it just going to be a frustration? Is it adding to the game having that mechanic?
Yep.
Otherwise, pause it, let them find the potion that they
Yeah.
want, and continue.
What is the experience you're trying to create, and does this support that experience?
Because players will also cheese it. So, for instance, I believe in Skyrim and Oblivion and maybe Morrowind, if you entered your inventory, the game paused. And of course, if the game's paused, you can go and consume a health potion. Dink.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
almost dead. I'll just pause the game briefly. I'll go to my rucksack. Hold on, demon. Yeah, health. Cool. Off we go. And
Although
that's a
in
problem.
Skyrim, nothing beats the bucket on the head exploit.
You can't see what I'm doing.
Hello, shopkeeper. Just wear this for me. I'm now going to rob you blind, but you can't see me. And now, here, buy all these things from me.
I think it was Oblivion. We're going a little bit off on a tangent, but I think it was Oblivion where if you stole something with no one else around and then went to a merchant to try and sell it, they'd be like, "I can't handle stolen goods." How do you know I've stolen it? You weren't there when I stole.
Okay,
Oh,
so you're fine with me going into an orc compound, murdering them all, and taking that stuff, but all those poor skeletons.
But yeah, it's